What is going on, guys? My name is AK, back again with another YouTube video. Now in today's video I'll be showing you how to get a perfect shot. Now I know this is something that you're going to say, AK, every pro's made a video on how to do this and they all say the same thing, and yes, I know they do. They say that change your aim curve response type from this to that and you won't miss a bullet, or use this one attachment and you'll never miss a bullet, and I know that's just not the case. You know, changing small things like that is not going to suddenly make you go from not being able to hit a shot to suddenly not missing a bullet. I know that's just not the case. So in today's video I'm breaking down what you actually need to do so that you can get a shot that is on par with the pros. Now don't get me wrong, this is something that is going to take a very long time. It's not a quick fix. There are no quick fixes to getting a perfect shot. In fact, to get my gun skill as good as it is now, it took about 7 years of constant playing. But there are a few things that you can do to actually speed up that process, things you want to look out for, and so that will I'll be talking about in today's video. Really hope you guys are going to enjoy it. If you do, be sure to drop a like, and let's get straight into it. Right, so the first things we're starting off with are those settings and are those attachments, because I know the pros say it in every video, and as much as it's not going to take you from bad to good, if you're playing with the wrong settings, that can actually make improving your aim and improving that accuracy quite a bit harder. So what I'll be doing is I'll be running through the settings that I use and sort of explaining which ones you can use. Now I'm not going to say there's one set sort of attachment choice or one set sort of settings that you have to use. It is personal preference, but there are some that are better than others. So here we've hopped into the settings. Now let me go through the three main settings that actually make a difference to your aim. So number one is your sensitivity. As you can see, we've got the horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. This is what determines how fast you're going to be spinning around. So a nice low sensitivity, somewhere in the region of about 5 or 6, is normally about the sweet spot for having good accuracy, as well as still having that ability to turn and actually react to sort of situations in game quite quickly. So maybe as a sub, you maybe want to sort of play more towards the 6 side, and then as an AR maybe towards the 5. I use an AR and I use 6, so it is personal preference, but to some extent you want to be sort of around that 5 or 6 region. But again, a little bit either side is okay, just use what works best for you. Next, we've got the ADS sensitivity. So this is the what proportion of your normal sensitivity you get aiming down sight. Now, some pros play this on 0.9, some play 0.8. Quite a few stick just to 1. I put it on 0.9 just because for the ARs, you know, you want to aim down sight, you want a little bit less sway. That kind of makes up for the fact that I have 6 just for normal sort of running around the map. And then it sort of goes down to about, maybe about 5.5 or so, whatever that works out to be. So a little bit less when you're actually aiming down sight. But again, if it works well for you on 1, keep it on 1. The next setting is the aim curve response time. Now this is one that a whole load of people talk about. It's one of those that everyone go, oh, you need to use this, you need to use this. Now, personally, I've used both standard and dynamic. They're generally considered the best two. Linear seems a little bit off. People aren't too much of a fan of that, just in general. But I've used both standard and dynamic, and I have to say both work. I used dynamic at the start of the year. I have since switched to standard, and it works fine for me. I could probably switch back and play fine with that as well. So really, doesn't really matter, but either standard or dynamic are said to work the best. And last of the settings is the target aim assist mode. You've got standard, legacy, precision, and focusing. Now, generally, precision is considered to be the worst. It's kind of like the weakest aim assist. If you read the description, it says something about strong aim for accurate players, but I think you'd class most pros as accurate players, and they've all kind of decided that it's not really the best. Really, you want to be using either standard or legacy. Now, legacy, if you've played a lot of Warzone, might work best for you because that's the aim assist mode used in that. But if not, I keep it on standard, works absolutely fine. That's about it for the settings. Now, these have a little bit of personal preference in, you know, if you do prefer some other things and it works best for you, go ahead and use that. But if not, just copy what I use, you know, good, it's a good solid foundation to use. And then from there, you can change bits that just suit the way you play. Now, the next thing the pros talk about is attachments, and yes, they do also play a part. There are ideal classes. If we're talking strictly competitive classes, here we've got my Krig. Now, the normal Krig class is infantry compensator. It's got good recoil control, or you can use muzzle brake. Both work quite well for that. But then the 19.7-inch Ranger barrel, the field agent grip, again, good for recoil control, so that's going to help you with your accuracy. We have the 40-round mag. It's not really anything to do with recoil. The airborne elastic wrap. And the Raider stock. So that's generally considered the best setup for the Krig. And for the AK-74U, you're kind of looking at quite a similar build, but being that you don't run gunfight, we've got a few cutouts. We've got the Spetsnaz compensator. Again, some people use muzzle brake. Kind of a bit of personal preference there, but definitely you want one that reduces the recoil. And then you've got the 9.3-inch extended, just the normal barrel. I think this is really the only one that's viable if you take away the GAs. Then the Spetsnaz speed grip, this actually does reduce your accuracy a little bit compared to the Spetsnaz, the normal grip, but it sort of means that you can actually move with the gun quite a bit faster. So as a submachine gun player, that is more important. So you kind of do take a little bit of a sacrifice on the sort of the recoil control in return for a little bit more movement speed. And then lastly, the GRU elastic wrap and the KGB skeletal stock. So they're the sort of classes you're going to be using for your competitive classes, but again, I'm going to stress changing your attachments will not take you from someone who doesn't know how to shoot straight to someone who never misses a bullet, but they're the attachments that you want to use. They're probably the best. So that out of the way, let's hop into the things that you actually need to be doing to improve your accuracy. So now you've got the right class and the right settings, so the next most important thing you want to learn how to do is control the recoil of the weapons. And in order to know how to control the recoil of the weapons, you're going to need to know what the recoil patterns of those weapons are. So the best place to do that is hop into a custom game by yourself like I have here and sort of point at the wall and don't try and sort of control the recoil at all. Keep your fingers off the buttons and just shoot the gun. So moving in a bit closer, we can here see the sort of the recoil pattern for the AK-74U. As you can see, it goes up, across to the left a little bit, and then sort of upwards towards the right a little bit. So that is a general recoil pattern. And if we again try that a little bit over here, let's try and go to the same distance. We can see that we get a recoil pattern that is actually very similar. So this is a consistent recoil pattern for the gun. Now knowing this, what we can try and do is we can try and move our sort of aiming stick to actually try and counteract this change in recoil. So what we'll be doing is first pulling it down and towards the right to counteract the up and left. And then once we start to see it kicking away from where we're centering it, again, we'll start pulling it down and towards the left to counteract that second push up to the right. So what I advise you do is you hop into a game, pick a point on a wall, and then what you need to try and do is actually try and keep your shots dead accurate on a single point. Now I'm not going to lie, it's pretty hard, but let's give it a go. So as you can see here, we have shot a little pattern on the wall there. Now what I'll do is next to that, I'll just do a normal one where I don't control the recoil. And there, have a little look at the difference. As you can see, this is a lot sort of closer than this one here. And so what you want to do is you want to know that pattern and then go into a normal game and try and practice using that pattern to control the recoil to help kill people. Now I just want to make a point, if you can consistently get them in a nice tight circle in here, think about in normal games when you're shooting people, you're going to have the aim assist. So being able to combine the aim assist with the fact that you can control the recoil means you'll probably be hitting quite a few more shots than you would previously. Now this process will work for any gun. The Krig has its own recoil pattern, the AK-47 has its own recoil pattern. Whatever gun you want to use, it's going to have this. So taking a second just to sort of learn what it is and learn how to actually reduce the recoil and actually control the recoil yourself is going to be quite helpful. But then once you've done this, the next step is to use the gun a load. You know, you want to get really good at using the gun. You want to use it over and over again. In fact, just sit and play pubs or league play, whatever you want to do. Now, I know a few people will say actually shoot bots, but in my eyes, I don't actually like doing that for improving your accuracy. For warming up, you know, when you first hop on, shoot a few bots to warm up, very good. In terms of improving your accuracy, I don't like it as much because you're not punished for missing your bullets. Because you think about it, in a bot's lobby, if you miss a whole load of bullets, you can miss the whole mag. The bot is probably not going to kill you. In league play, if you miss even a couple of bullets, you're going to get punished for that by the other player and you're going to die. So it kind of forces you to actually improve your accuracy and shoot a lot straighter. So this is why when actually improving your accuracy, I personally prefer to play pubs or league play. Now, the gameplay in the background here is a gameplay of me using the AK-47, or AK-74U, sorry, because my Krig shot is pretty good, so I'm working on my AK-74U at the moment, so hopped into a game in Nuketown. It's probably my favourite way of actually doing this, even more so than league play, just because you can get into so mmany engagements in a game. For instance, I think I finished this game 98 and 41, which KD-wise is a little bit over 2, so nothing amazing. But at the same time, that's 98 sort of kills and over 120 gunfights that I got into in the game. So that is just the maximum amount of time I can get practicing, working on controlling that recoil, and just sort of improving it using the gun. So definitely now is the time to put in a whole load of time. Once you know the recoil pattern of the gun you want to work on, just hop into pubs, play as much as you can, and really work on controlling that recoil and hitting as many shots as possible. Now coming back to the custom game, the next thing I want to talk about is sort of shooting and strafing. So if you know something that a lot of people tell you to do is when you shoot you actually want to strafe. And if you don't know what that is, that's just moving side to side during the gunfight because it makes you a lot harder to shoot at. But of course, shooting while strafing actually does decrease your accuracy quite a bit because you're going to be shooting sort of either side of the person and it's then a bit harder to sort of counter that and keep that centered. So what I'd recommend, if you're sort of really wanting to work on your accuracy, start by standing still, you know, start by sort of being able to control that accuracy standing still, and then once you can do that, then work on actually trying to control the accuracy while moving side to side. Now, this doesn't look very good because I have no aim assist. In a normal game, you'll have a little bit more aim assist, so you can kind of work on improving that a little bit. But definitely, if you need to, start shooting standing still. That's how you've got the most accuracy, and then once you can do that, then you can start adding that strafing and the other sort of movement mechanics into your gunfights. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in today's video is centering. Now, this is something that you've probably heard quite a few people talk about. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. Don't worry, I'll explain it if you don't. But it's definitely something that is going to help you improve your accuracy. So let me give you a little situation. I think this will help explain it. So we are sat in P3 here on Rage, you know, the back garage. Say we had a call out that there was someone in Zig. If you don't know what Zig is, it's the little bit just there between mid-map and the back garage side. That little wall bit there. So say we had a call out that was someone there. If we come around this corner here and then aim, it's probably not the best way to get the kill. They're likely going to be pre-aiming at the back, and they'll probably be able to kill us actually before we've had the time to turn around. And even if we hit every bullet, there's actually quite a delay between first seeing them and then actually being able to hit that first bullet. Say instead we come around the corner and we're actually already sort of centered. You know, you've got that white dot in the middle of the screen, so make sure you use it. But say you come around that corner and you already have that dot centered on Zig. The moment you see them, you can snap on and start shooting them there. So that is essentially what centering is, making sure that you've got your crosshairs pointed where you expect the enemy to be, and not just sort of arbitrarily placing them somewhere on the screen so that then you have to snap to actually get that gunfight. So that's going to reduce the amount of time between actually sort of seeing someone and actually being able to kill them. So again, once you've worked on your accuracy and then you've worked on strafing, work on then adding that centering in as well. So coming around the corners, you know, so say we expect someone to be in the back there, we come around the corner, we pre-aim that, we expect them, and we center expecting them to be there. Now, with all these tips and tricks, hopefully with enough time and practice, your accuracy will get a lot better. Now, I need to stress a lot of time and practice. This is not something that comes quick. In fact, as I said at the start, it took me about 7 years to get, or 7 years of playing competitive COD. And I remember at the start, my accuracy was awful. I used to shoot circles, you know, shooting everywhere around someone, but not actually hitting them. And with enough time and practice for myself, I managed to get a shot that I like. I've, of course, always got places to improve on, but definitely it's a lot better than it used to be. So make sure you put in that time and practice. I'm sure you'll be rewarded with a much better shot, you know, work your way up league play, get better at the game, whatever you want to do. I'm sure with enough time and practice, as with everything, you're going to improve. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.